Hello and welcome to another OHL Player Profile. I'm Tyler Raines along with my co-host Cameron Capobianco, and today it is an honor and a pleasure to be joined by Jordan Griffiths, a player for the Richmond Hill Coyotes AAA team. Jordan, thank you for coming on to the show today, and how are you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. It's great to have you here. So we're going to ask you a couple of questions that are basically just related to hockey and going into the OHL draft, what we can look for from you. So Cameron, why don't we get started with that? You got the first question, bud.
Jordan, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate an OHL prospect coming in and talking with us. So my first question for you is, what inspired you to get into hockey?
Well, the first thing that probably inspired me to get into hockey was my dad. My dad loved hockey. He played for a while and still continues to play, even like if it's just pickup or whatever. And yeah, I think my dad just put me into it. And then at first I actually did not want to play. So what it started was my neighbor at my old house, he actually convinced me to play. And my dad was continuing to encourage me to play. And I just started in house league. And after I got out into house league, I started playing like single A. And then that's really in single A when I fell in love with it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would assume I never heard a kid say they were into it during single A. I would always think it was house league at first they get into it, but single A, I guess it was more because it was like more of a competitive style of play, Jordan, like going through house league to now single A and where you are now.
Yeah, I think it was that. Like at first, house league first year, I really like didn't like going. It was early in the morning, and my dad would like encourage me, say, "You want like a treat after," something like that. And yeah, he just encouraged me to keep playing. And I think really when I got to single A, I just fell in love with it. Wanted to go all the time. It's like better not be late for practice. I just fell in love with the game after that.
And I would imagine as you move forward, you kind of developed your game a little bit more. Could you talk to me a little bit about what kind of player you are?
Well, I would say I'm a gritty player. I like to use my size, own the boards, that type of thing, as well as like my hockey IQ. I feel like I can make great plays with my head up. And I think that all develops into having a great game.
Absolutely. And now look at your strengths and weaknesses. You've mentioned that, you have your hockey IQ, you like to use your speed and a little bit of your grittiness as well. What are some of your biggest strengths, would you say?
I would say my strengths are just my grittiness, my IQ. I feel like I would do a lot of things that players won't, like get into those boards, get that puck, block that shot. So I think that's what separates me from other players in just the gritty side and yeah, that type of thing.
And what about some of the weaknesses that you have?
I would say weaknesses as in like things I need to work on, probably just skating. Skating is one of the biggest things in hockey, right? If you're not faster than the other guy, you're going to fall behind, right? So I think just skating, I always try to work on, especially as not being on the ice right now, just doing a lot of quick feet and sprints and stuff like that. Just skating, always trying to get better at skating.
Hey, Jordan, would you say, like we're just talking about what type of player you are and that stuff, would you say more offensive or a defensive kind of player, or maybe a two-way?
I would say I'm definitely a two-way player. I'll block that shot, get the puck out. But obviously I love the offensive side, scoring goals, making plays, that type of thing. But I'll always back check, block those shots, get the pucks out, that type of thing. But yeah, I would say I'm a two-way for sure.
And is there any certain NHL player currently playing or maybe past that you would say you model your game after?
I would say I model my game after Zach Hyman on the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's a very gritty player, does things that other players won't, is in blocking shots, getting that puck to the net, making plays, stuff like that. Yeah, and he's just a really gritty player and has great IQ. And I think that's who I model my game after.
That's a great player to model your game after. When we were talking to a couple of other people, they kind of said like, oh, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin. That's a unique answer. I really like that.
Thank you.
Looking at the OHL draft and going into it, is there a certain player that if you were drafted that you would like to play against?
I think the obvious is Shane Wright. For me, I'm a competitor. I love the game. I think I would want to play against the best and see what the best is like. So I would say he's one of the best players, right? So I would want to play against the best for sure.
And this one's a little bit of a unique kind of question. Favorite hockey movie and why?
Favorite hockey movie? I would probably just say, I think The Mighty Ducks. I don't know. I just think it's a classic one. It's a good one. It's funny too. The flying V play, stuff like that. And I think that would be my favorite.
Be sure to catch the OHL's priority selection when rounds 1 to 3 begin on June 4th and rounds 4 to 15 begin on June 5th. Thank you very much for joining us, Jordan, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys.